Hello, my name is Alexandra Valerio, and I'm here with our principal, Miss Dillon. What is your favorite hobby that you have picked up since March and why?
I have been working on an old hobby. So I like to crochet. Since the pandemic kept us all from getting out and about, I have taught myself how to do a skill called Tunisian crochet. And so it's a little bit different. It's like regular crochet uses a hook like this, and Tunisian uses one like this. So it's kind of a cross between knitting and crocheting. So it's kind of neat. And also, we've been doing a lot of home improvement. So there are a few things that I have dusted off, like rewiring light fixtures and things that I actually learned in middle school. When I was in middle school, we had to take tech ed, just like you guys, but we did more things like learning how to wire light switches and patch drywall and things like that. And so I've been using those skills.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
What have you enjoyed about isolation, or in other words, quarantine? Is there anything that you did not think that you would enjoy but have?
So there are things that we have been able to do more of. So we did isolate with our children. And my kids are older. So my oldest child is 26 and my youngest is 21. And then there's one in the middle who's 24. So we did get to do some quarantining with them. Unfortunately, my mother-in-law passed away 2 weeks into the pandemic, and so we had to come together as a family. And when we did that, we ended up being able to spend a month together because, you know, we ended up self quarantining because we left state. I've gotten to spend time with family. We've been doing a lot of playing games. So we like to play Catan. We bought a new version of Catan, the Seafarers version. We also like to play Dominion. So we've been playing Dominion, and we bought an expansion pack for that one. We play lots of card games too. There's one called Five Crowns that we like to play. But also we're trying to support small business. So we actually have been bringing in meals more often than we had before, to try to give business to the smaller restaurants, that aren't chains and whatnot. Though we have done a few chains to be sure, but we've been trying to do that too. So those are things that we've kind of been doing.
That was an excellent answer. And yeah, it's nice to get with family and to enjoy. A next question a student has is how would you describe your initial views on the virus back in March to your views now?
So I had some early kind of indication that this was more serious than I think some people were taking it. And when discussion was happening about closing down school for 2 weeks, I pretty much knew we weren't going to go back. We had been planning a trip in August. We were actually going to go to Kenya for 16 days. And in February, we canceled it. So starting in January, we knew as a family, my husband works in education as well. And so he had some information that we were working off of, and we felt like that wouldn't have been a smart thing to do. So we canceled that trip. I knew it was going to be disruptive, and I knew that there were going to be people who got sick. And so we've been treating it very seriously as a family, and then as a school with our staff, we've been treating it very seriously. We want people to stay safe.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. If you could go back in time, what would you have done differently to adapt to quarantine?
I think I adapted fairly well. There are some things that I would have taken with me from school, though I took a lot. I do know that one of the things that I've been doing that's not healthy is I've been working like from the time I get up until pretty much the time I go to sleep, because there's no boundary for when you stop. Like when you're working and going to school, you leave the building. And although I always take my laptop with me, and although I always check my email at night, I don't always continue to work on a project or a document or communication. And so I've been trying to be better about that actually in the last month, but there's a part of me that can't help but check email because I know people need answers. And we don't get to pass each other in the hallway and say, "Oh, I have a question for you." Or we don't get to come together in a meeting, or we don't see things happening, get to respond to it when we see it happening. We have to wait until we get it in writing. I've, been trying to be better about it, but I think I would have established more of a routine or schedule for myself way back in March, though it becomes impossible. So as things happen, so tomorrow board meeting, there's going to be a lot of discussion and decisions made that are going to make us quickly adjust, perhaps. So they're going to be talking about whether or not they're going to remove final exams from courses for this year. And there won't be much time for us to like pivot. So there, you try to keep a schedule and you try to make sure you discipline yourself so that you continue to do activities that are healthy for you. And that means like taking a break, stepping back from your work, and then the world changes and you have to catch up, right, in very little time. So I do think I would try, but I don't think I would be successful. If I could go back, I would have tried, but I don't think I would have been successful. So the other thing that I want to be good about too, and have been actually, I think, good about doing this, is giving myself grace. Like if I don't do something well, if I miss an email, or if I, don't get up and go for a walk, then I try to forgive myself, because we have enough weighing on our shoulders than, beating ourselves up about stuff like that. So
Yeah, I definitely agree with it. It's a very uncertain time and there's a lot of weight on everybody's shoulders, so I fully understand. What are you most excited about when we move back into the real school environment, and whenever that may be?
I'm super excited about seeing students. As administrators, we don't get to sit in meets with you like your teachers do. So we're missing you probably more than you know. I mean, the reason we got into education is because we like kids, right? And so when you take them out of the equation, it kind of makes it like, what am I doing? I'm doing this for you, all the things that I'm doing, but I don't get to see you. I don't get to say hello to you. On the flip side of that, I've gotten to do things like this, like have a conversation with you and you're asking me questions. I've had lots of meets with small groups and with individuals, and really gotten to know some kids like in a deeper way that I wouldn't probably have gotten to do if we were in brick and mortar, right? Because we would all been going about our lives and what have you. But yeah, I mean, I miss the kids. I miss the things that happened after the end of the school day. I miss the after school stuff. I miss I miss going to its academic competitions. I miss going to basketball. I miss going by a club meeting and hearing what you guys are working. I miss all of that. The things that happen after school, because that's the fun stuff. I'm working with teachers all day, but when day ends and we get to do all of those things, that's energy. So I miss
After
that.
school is really fun, and I totally agree with you. I miss that as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so thank you so much. It's been really great knowing you, and thank you.
Same. And when we get back to school, stop by. We'll have a different kind of conversation.